morning, everyone. My name is Nathalie, and today Peter, Mike, and I will tell you something more about gender preferences and carbon decisions. We'll be pleased to answer any questions you may have at the end of our presentation. First of all, I would like to ask you a question. Where do you think of when you see these pictures? Anyone an idea? No? These women are all women who broke the glass ceiling in their own industry. Angelina Jolie is an example of using the influence she has gained through Hollywood to draw the attention to the needs of those in less fortunate circumstances. While others may talk about world issues, she puts the rubber to the road. Not only does she directly impact the communities in which she works, she also inspires others to get actively involved as well. Oprah Winfrey is the first African American woman to become a billionaire, and therefore she embodies the American dream. Missy Elliott broke the glass ceiling of a male-dominated industry by starting her own record label. Hillary Clinton was nominated for president by a major party and was the first woman to become with a legitimate chance at winning the Oval Office. She encouraged other women to join the political process and pursue their dreams. J.K. Rowling is a British author known for the Harry Potter series, which have sold more than 400 million copies worldwide and won numerous awards. J.K. Rowling has become one of the most influential and successful novelists, and she is the first person to become a billionaire just from authoring books. Next, I'm going to tell you something about the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is an invisible barrier which prevents women from climbing the corporate ladder and thus from rising to the top level jobs. However, this is not because they are short of skills, education, or experience, but just because they are women. Especially, initially, the metaphor was used to refer to the barrier in the careers of women, what was extended to the barrier in the careers of minority men as well. It is important for men, these minority men and women, to break the glass ceiling because they have the right to be treated equally, but also because they earn it. The major manners to break the glass ceiling, there are different manners to break the glass ceiling, but the most effective one is intervention by the government. Next, the glass elevator effect, also referred as the glass escalator effect. Some believe there is rapid promotion of men over women, especially into management and female-dominated fields, such as nursing. They say men in these fields are promoted with ease. This is based on traditional gender roles and stereotypes that men are expected to be in the chief roles while women are to be in subordinate positions. Therefore, in the fields where men are less common, they receive differential treatment, and that favors them to exert their authority and control in the workplace. Now Mike is going to tell you something more about the glass ceiling in Norway and what they've done to prevent gender discrimination.
Thank you, Natalie. A lot of research has been done in Norway on the topic of gender discrimination, and the results showed that the sex ratio in politics tends to even out. So the number of male and female politicians is about the same. However, the same results showed that women are very underrepresented in the business world. In 2003, the Norwegian government took action by giving most companies 2 years of time to increase the number of female board directors to a minimum of 40%. But when most companies failed to meet these demands, the Minister of Equity took drastic measures by putting a new law into effect, which threatened companies with closure if they didn't hire more women for top management positions. Thanks. For example, if your company consists of 80% men and only 20% women, you have 2 years of time to hire more women, or otherwise the government may shut your company down for good. Thanks to this new law, the Norwegian government helped shattering the glass ceiling, and today women have a greater chance at reaching top positions at their company. The implemented equity demands have also had their effect on the rest of the world. For example, in Spain and France have followed Norway's lead by implementing a similar policy. Next, I'm going to talk about some situations in which it might actually be a good idea to have gender discrimination. First, imagine your company is highly hired on the male side. Well, it might be wise to bring in some female co-workers to balance out the work floor. But of course, this works in both ways. So if you have a lot of female employees, you might benefit from hiring some men as well. Because the key to success is to understand the value that each individual brings to the table. For example, women tend to bring in a fresh approach on things and are very creative thinkers, while men, on the other hand, are known to be excellent problem solvers. So they are very complementary, and if they work together, they can make up for each other's deficiencies. I now have a short video which states that to be a good leader, among other things, you have to assemble a great complementary team.
Hiring employees is something that all managers and supervisors have to do. My name is Gloria Campbell, and I'm with Advantage Training Systems in St. Petersburg, Florida. And there are definitely some things that you can do to make sure you get the right employee. The first thing you want to do is to make sure that you are clear on the duties and responsibilities of that employee. If you don't have a job description, search the internet, find one, find something that will work for you, and create a job description. One of the biggest problems you have when you go with your gut and you simply hire someone because you like them, you may find out after you've hired them that they don't have the skills that you need. Maybe they need to be able to be a good organizer. Maybe they need to be able to take direction. Maybe they need to be able to talk to customers, and that's really not their bent. So the job description starts the whole process. Once you've identified what it is you want, then it's very easy to hire to that particular job duties and responsibilities. Don't be swayed by someone who comes in and they're flashy. If they don't have what you're looking for, go to the next person. There are great employees out there, all of them looking for your job. My name is Gloria Campbell, and I'm with Advantage Training Systems in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hiring employees is an opportunity. Use it.
A different situation in which gender discrimination might be allowed is when it's part of an affirmative action program by the government. This is much like the situation in Norway, when the government notices substantial discrimination.
We don't have businesses unless we have employees, and every employee brings to the business a special gift. My name is Gloria Campbell, and
Excuse me. So as I was saying, when the government notices a substantial disparity in the hiring process, your company may be required to hire exclusively from a certain minority group to meet the government's demands. Next up is Peter, who will talk about our research question.
Hello, I'm going to talk about our research question. Our research question, which includes gender discrimination and the effect of organizational climate on it. We can see that if managers want to change the organizational climate in such a positive way, that it might get an influence on productivity and behavior on the work floor, managers can use specific tools and positive emotions to obtain this goal. But first of all, if you want to know the impact of different approaches on organizational climate, we first have to know what the term organizational climate really is about. We can define organizational climate by answering the question, how do employees feel when they do their job? For example, how do you feel? You're sitting in English classes. Are you feeling happy, amused, feeling bored? Do you have bad hair day? Feeling ugly today? It all counts on the work floor. And before we go on, we first have to make a note here. Organizational climate is not the same as corporate culture. That's very important. Organizational climate has its roots in psychology and can be described by the atmosphere in a company, while corporate culture is based on sociology and refers to the norms and values in which a company operates. A positive organizational climate is one of the most important aspects that contribute to being successful, and from that point of view I think a great manager should leave no stone unturned in order to achieve this important key to success. I say important key to success, but also cheap key to success, that's also important. Respecting his people, treating men and women equal, and increasing personal communications are just some of the tools a manager can use to create a positive, non-discriminating climate. On the other hand, a moody supervisor, stress, pressure are just some of the factors that will result in a negative climate, and this will damage the enthusiasm of the workforce. For example, if we should have a teacher of English class who is moody, who's aggressive, who doesn't like teaching English, I don't think there will be many students next week. But all of these tools I talked about in the previous slide are inferior to in relation to the most influential and unchangeable characteristic of the manager, and that's the manager's mood. A manager's mood accounts for about 70% of the variability of the climate. So a manager who's happy, who's whistling all the time, and most of all who's inspiring his people will carry over his energy to the people he works with. On the other hand, for all that, only 28% of the managers enjoy the work they do, so it's more likely that you as a future employee have to deal with a grumbling manager day after day. A grumbling manager instead of a happy manager day after day. That's important because not one day a happy manager, but always a happy manager. Comparing statistics of companies with a positive organizational climate and companies with a negative organizational climate shows remarkable results in favor for companies who put emphasis on creating a positive organizational climate. For example, the health insurance company determined that sales were about 71% of company units in positive organizational climate compared to 18% in negative climate, so that's 4 times better. And I think we can conclude by this remarkable note that putting more efforts on creating a positive organizational climate gives companies a stronger base to face its competitors in the stifling economy. Particularly in these times of economic crisis, it might make a huge difference. And when you apply for a job, I think it's also important that you keep this in mind. Forget all about salary, titles, perks, and status. Choose a job that makes you go. So that's also important. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. No one? Okay. Then I thank you for your attention and have a good day.